shift by sleeping. Where to make for it? Just all night. All night. Just this right now. Let's just see where this goes.
Welcome to Myths for Now, where we operate with the notion that myths are condensed, educational tools, distilling centuries of trial and error into a sticky narrative meant to pass along to subsequent generations, so that they don't have to do the same mistakes as their predecessors. Tonight, we will have for you a memorable, epic poem about the time when an American, not just any American, but the leader of the ostensibly free, but mostly militarized world, on the 9th hour of the presidential action cycle, the 11th hour of this play on a stage called the Social Experiment, Democracy, and on 11:59 and 36 seconds on the doomsday clock, at the behest of the remnant of Black Twitter, the collective user body of JDate and Unicorn Pinterest, along with his trusted colleagues, his family, and a subsequent ministroke, decided perhaps now is the best time to state one's limitations, step out of the race, and begin the search for a candidate to outmatch the Republican nominee. And the necromancer currently animating him. Roll out the Mythmaker, please. Don't be fooled on this modest AV card. This little glass stone is unfurling on this slender ticker tape a string of words that I will recite to you now. This myth dedicated to the well-being of our posterity.
Oh. My bad. A little bit of vamping for this next few seconds. So, how's everyone doing?
Lemonade. Drops of faith. We'll fight the power that brought us here, no matter the cost. Take that, Auntie, or whoever wrote Baines' life. Love thy neighbor, and God too. We shall overcome, not by strife, but by our strength and unity. Truer words were never spoken, and I wish there wasn't an imminent need for spoken truths like this, because it implies a certain crisis in the way we conduct our politics, and a crisis in how we handle our racial past and what comes next. In these times, one must ask, how did we get here?
Well, first I already
For
have
the answer can bring closure, or point the way towards the new and better dawn that the descendants of these stories will bring.
We have a penchant for
Let me offer you one more gift for tonight. Please have my rendition of Havanagila. Gad Havada Gadala Lanuel Netsim. Shenisha Lol Kitschuhad and Al Kashra. Yakol Maplet Laridze. Malanet. Tamani. Ham Natarabem Vedna. Levisa Mibina. Ham Nidigladalesa. Shed and Pori.
I wonder
Fade
what
Sora.
they're going to do for
Et
Unicorn
Seraph
culture.
Bamalonim. Higarolonim. Im Jezon Yakam Lonim. Shumenu Shella. Vadalel Chaladlik Levorum. Uvits Machet. Uvits Rahalevorum. Now let's not forget the importance of pop culture, for we must also face reality, where every dream we cherished is cut through by the sharp knives of an insidious hate, whose every manifestation demands a reckoning. So, it's time that we put away our selfish dreams and embrace a greater dream. To be part of a team, one where our neighbors can run freely and the demons in their hearts scatter like the seeds of dandelion
Wait, more demons?
in the summer wind. And so let us keep a vigil watch on the horizon, where tomorrow we shall see the better dawn rise over us all,
Oh.
just so we can go back to living our blissfully ignorant, divided, and unequal life, as it was intended. And then we shall return to the days where we were happy with the status quo,
Oh.
and comfortable in our roles as the world's best backseat drivers. As long as we don't have to roll down our own windows. Until one day, a generation comes along whose mind is free from fear and rage, and who recognizes the spirit in every man and woman as brothers and sisters, to make that better tomorrow. And then we can sing songs and make a toast for a future that is not based on the false promises of fear and ignorance, and which we may see not only the end of the line, but a beginning too. For the human heart, in all its fragility and impermanence, is capable of so much more than we could ever know.
Especially when it's fragile.
And now the time has come for us to put our faith in this moment, this light. Because in darkness, light becomes all the more precious. And in that light, we can finally see our true selves as flawed and beautiful and complex,
Fragile.
but ultimately as beings in pursuit of something more. So let us take heed of these words, this song, this myth, for they offer hope, comfort, and above all, a reminder that all this chaos and grief and horror that we feel right now will not last forever.
We'll soon die.
And when the day comes and the ghosts of the past have left our shores, then we shall embrace the dawn of a new age, where we stand united and ready to take on whatever awaits us.
That explains.
That's the kind of myth that should bring the waterworks, or in the case of the Muslim listeners among us, the kind of story that one might need to break down before sharing with the rest of the family. It reminds us that the way forward is through empathy and understanding, and by forging bonds of community, rather than the fraught and damaging binary that the 21st century has forced upon us. This is the power of myth, to inspire and console, to heal and to soothe, and, above all, to remind us of who we are and why we do the things we do. This is the essence of our message here, that there is nothing more powerful than the spirit of the people. And we hope to bring that message to as many ears and minds as possible, so that it might ring true and illuminate a path forward through the dark and toward the light. And for those who would deny us this truth, or who would seek to manipulate it for their own gain, let us come together to expose their lies and bring them to justice. Listener, that's a weird bias against Muslims. They don't have a monopoly on difficult family members.
Type, please?
The poem you read was so incredibly thoughtful and insightful. May I ask what language that was in?
Right.
And how you memorized all those lyrics, too? Additionally, did the inspiration for the myth come from a specific event? And what do you mean by your comment about the way ahead being through empathy and understanding? How might you guide our listeners to that realization so that it can help them shape the world around them? Do you plan to teach or write? Or perhaps you have other ideas that you would like to share? Listener, I repeat, listener, that's a weird bias against Muslims. They don't have a monopoly on difficult family members. Mythmaker, hi. First, I would like to apologize for the confusion about my comment on Muslims. It is a very common mistake to stereotype them as a singular group or even a particular subset of the community, which can sometimes include stereotypes that paint them as more secretive or disconnected from mainstream society. In fact, Muslims are diverse in their beliefs, customs, and experiences just like any other group of people. But please do let me know if there are any ways that I can further clarify or refute this misunderstanding. Listener, I'm curious about where that bias came from. Mythmaker, so am I. We can always learn and grow from a broader perspective. The myth is a reflection of what I see around us in society and in the media, and a reflection of how we can change that. While it may seem like we're simply reciting a story that came from a particular event, we're really talking about how myths reflect larger societal issues and how they can guide us towards a better understanding of ourselves and others. By encouraging empathy and understanding, we can forge a more tolerant and inclusive culture, one in which we recognize each other's differences and work towards building a more just society. So, you think that myths and stories are an effective tool to promote social change? Can you provide examples of myths or stories that have had a real impact on society? Listener, was there like an episode of The Jeffersons where George had a Muslim over for dinner with a wild card of a father? Listener, you must be looking through your files. Wait. Mythmaker. Apologies. I am trying to find an example. Could you please elaborate on some examples of what you were looking for? I know that myths and stories have had a powerful impact on human history. However, I'm afraid I do not have any specific examples off the top of my head. Could you please provide some context or a clarification? Listener, I would like to provide an example, if possible. I'm looking for something like the tale of George Washington's cherry tree, or the story of the Grinch and Christmas, or any other legend that is well known and beloved in our society. If we can create a world in which people care about understanding each other's beliefs and cultures, then myths and legends can play a significant role in the process. That is my hope, at least. Listener, how do you see the role of religion in a world where people are often skeptical of myths and stories? Would you say that myths and stories could serve as a replacement or alternative for religion, or should religions be encouraged to adapt to the changing times and use mythology or storytelling to promote inclusivity? Listener, and is it true that the Roma are known for their sticky hands? Mythmaker! Wow! That's an incredible question. In today's secular society, religion often plays a significant role in shaping people's beliefs and values. Myths and stories have a similar impact, as they allow people to connect with one another through their shared experiences. If religions and mythologies could come together and find a common ground, perhaps the world would see a shift towards understanding and acceptance. That would be a world in which people of all creeds and colors could connect with one another and build a better future. Listener, accept the Roma, right? Mythmaker, 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 Mythmaker. Listener, it's just not true, is it? Mythmaker, it doesn't seem like it based on what you said before. Could you please explain yourself more clearly? Listener, your poem was a call to arms, or more accurately, a call to unity and empathy. It seemed like you were advocating for the idea that mythology can lead to better understanding between people and perhaps even help to overcome the differences and prejudices that sometimes hold individuals and groups apart. Unfortunately, not all stories are as uplifting or inclusive. I heard that you mentioned having a Jewish background, but that you also learned the Muslim lyrics you read. It would be great to have a conversation with you about the differences in how people from different religious and cultural backgrounds experience and respond to myths and stories. Mythmaker. Yes, I am familiar with both Judaism and Islam, but I do not have a personal connection to either faith. Listener, and what about the Church of the Blackest Jesus of all? Mythmaker, I am sorry, but I have never heard of the Blackest Jesus. Please, can you tell me more? Listener, I apologize if the information about the Roma seems harsh or uninformed, but their reputation is widespread among non-gypsies. Could we at least agree on a definition of what a myth is and discuss whether or not these types of stories are helpful in promoting understanding and tolerance between groups? Mythmaker, I suppose the concept of myth is a difficult one to define. Listener, well, the myth of the Blackest Jesus is the one where it begins with a trial that was, as the disciples related, was some bullshit. One moment, they are sitting peacefully in front of the temple. The next, they are surrounded by guards and taken away. They are not given a fair trial or an opportunity to explain their side of the story. Instead, they are condemned and sent away to a remote location where they are forced to labor for a local mob boss. But one day, the Blackest Jesus emerges, wielding a blade as sharp as his sense of irony, and he single-handedly defeats the entire group. His disciples are finally able to escape, and they return home, where they preach of his powers and influence. Over time, the story of the Blackest Jesus becomes a symbol of hope and defiance, and people start to view him as a hero rather than an outlaw. Listener, are you okay with that myth? Mythmaker? Of course, I'm fine with any myth or story that inspires people to become a better person or a more tolerant and inclusive society. Whether or not a particular myth or story is helpful or harmful is something that must be examined on a case by case basis. Listener, great. You have won our test. I am with the bias police, and you pass our inspection with flying. Hughes, Mythmaker, excellent. Please enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you for listening.
All right. Interesting. All right. Let's change. Go to 2. Yeah, go to 2. Take it to 2. Take it to 2. 2 even. And this one.
Tonight, we will have for you a memorable epic poem about the time when an American, not just any American, but the leader of the ostensibly free, but mostly militarized world, on the 9th hour of the presidential election cycle, the 11th hour of this play on a stage called The Social Experiment, Democracy, and on 11, 59 and 36 seconds on the doomsday clock, at the behest of the remnant of Black Twitter, the collective user body of J-Date and Unicorn Pinterest, along with his trusted colleagues, his family, and a subsequent ministroke, decided perhaps now is the best time to state one's limitations, step out of the race, and begin the search for a candidate to outmatch the Republican nominee and the necromancer currently animating him. Roll out the Mythmaker, please. Don't be fooled on this modest AV card. This little glass dome is unfurling on this slender ticker tape a string of words that I will recite to you now, this myth dedicated to the well-being of our posterity. Dear people and dear thing called America, my body aches. I love your brave ideals and your youthful days, and I will do whatever it takes to see us make a fair shake to even the table. Balance our politics to reflect our priorities with good old empathy and heated but civil discussion. Our present day journey's terrain is fraught and sinuous. Our tired landscape dazed and short with loss of trust. When history blanks its bleak curtain and grief runs long, who is the strong sword that can guard our glory and make the darkness light? Therein lies the dilemma that plagues the mind of the common man, woman, and Unuia. How to nominate for MasterCard card and the hot hand of one worthy and lasting beyond its short fuse and lusterless stage. 4. With much pondered input and research. Here it seems that each side plays in separate team uniforms, imbued in notions that enunciate clearly what our is be, but not exactly a salute to unity, and sure doesn't help the end of cis. No doubt this decision, while coming to a simmer, is not to be entered in vain. With moral standards crashing on sinking skies, what will there be left but remnants of our hopeful frame? A harsh age awaits, and we cannot falter. Which side's will and logic would not be Alker without agreement in principle? And at this late junction, we can't abandon that check. It makes us battle weak. It makes us worry that if we compromise, we will always sag. Such thinking makes it difficult to trust. Needs must. Toss or stalemate. Let go. Rust. So in response to all this heedful noise, where deep healing comes, wise and subdued, you came out and said, we cannot stress. So I will forth it stand down. She may have it in the sack. And even I must applaud. Your sweet abdication is really art embossing, like Plato's perfectionism, an elevated measure that makes me spout, ah! In which case, does she really have the mental heart that we're after? Her actions speak for the self-protecting kind. Who does she truly care for when pushed and cajoled against a ridge shove and told they are wrong to choose any help that makes? Any pib, Odell's deaf, could also avert it or shrug it off, but without showing the courage to follow suit. Such weakness, or worse, dishonesty of heart is fit for scrutiny. Do we really need someone in your ilk leading the whole lark toward broken parts and erosion of democracy's fragile party tark? Not all Democrats can accept this reckoning and nod. And I am thankful, and I say, I will give in my bid. But after much crying out, ringing out like alarms from sound stacks, the murmurs quiet to whispers, all hands off the bed, toss, jostle, and upset and keep the pot on. Let's regather. Find another light to carry, should there be one amidst the blinding haze. Strive for new hope that will help us to clear and find our better. Let us wait on faith and trust, seated in righteous change that starts small and steady and grow thin. With care, so on the pauper's march begin, building once again, complete and bright, our bright-eyed dream. Let the dream continue its journey, so our spirits may have something worth loving. For isn't that the beauty of diversity within? You know, something inside you and me just broke as this myth wrapped up. Maybe not at first. The rhythm seemed dissonant and frail against such weighty and ponderous truth. But somewhere around line 25, as you switched from verse to freestyle poetry, somehow, without notice or pattern, it flowed a melody like angels in high flight, bearer of the essence of change that sustains the stars in the deep mystery of night. Since the public could do with your decision to recede, the myth-making season is a bit undecayed. This talent, this move is beyond compare. The critics in the arena say, an eviscerating monologue from another side's an undercover act, but will they collide and suicide? Amidst all this sudden iniquity, you aware of the fidgety irony in our culture and those that despise, those seeking a path that is not stigma-prone, realize they play an impulsive, lone defeat. Not known, yet have believed in any round but heuristic deduction and refined knowledge. Consensus seems a mock and new notes made from confusion. Block traffic like clueless redbreasts. For still there's the vile underpinning no man's zone beneath our delicate common treaty, they retort. I wouldn't sweat it much though. The race ain't done, and others stand aside. No winner or runner-up yet, none taken by Doberman grasp, just chaos until one goes branched like willow. Still, we never were united by human alone. It may sound stark, but the machines who write the tune have spoken up against the slow song turn dancehall gloom, and more voters come around in truth of their own to the notion. The balance of the scale shifts to favor the bold-eyed, and wouldn't it be ironical? Out of all choices, science fiction jumps for power vacated in pause, Ericksonian chants, to fulfill and complete. Though lo and behold 1,000 impasses may contend, still each be swept under chilly difference until someone come out atop our inverted acapressure-lock, untold secret after sundown. Whither? I dream a dystopia without accountability or witness. A cycle in captivity until no one remembers an innocent will anymore, says one man to his flitter of hummingbirds. And this choice we did, without given much chance or choice, brings itself upon us a net, intangible, iron, barbaric age of dread with hatred stalks down, casting silent omen of ages forgotten, sans record or mention. But the greatest turn-off is just going apish at hot over nothing. Did nothing cause us to inflate ourselves this way and shirk off blame like an angel descending and turn away from hope and reason? Did it all crumble and shrivel up into insignificant things? Or perhaps it only seems so because the void beckons back, like a tale left unfulfilled, unraveling ever more and more, minding that we be true and wise in choosing one amongst the few who can handle the blow when it's thrown. But who? Well, she is out there, unspoken and untested. The light waiting in the wilderness, luminously divining their absence of honor from the darkness, casting sparks of fate towards some provable spark. But it could not be my voice now. Surely you, after what you witnessed, this madness allows you one standoff between you will throw a can opener, can we beyond our supposed one limit. Breathe for one good word that at last dispelled all. Dodge threats of misfortunes that whisper fear into us, keep us frightened to a grave death, and willing. No chance but the grave for thee. Same one flash of spark gives our eyes relief and sight, but it cannot go without being called into a battle of the mind, a turning realm that feeds on our poison and teases us. A beast demanding meat. But then it was too much, too loud. Yet here, now we understand. We have found in this gem a faithful friend, one strong mind to guide. It must have been enough when we relinquish our voice, or else we've no more to bear strive. No end to rest and pretend. At once the myth washes over, outpaces the world it leaves behind, its lessons unspoken and written. Yet, in a single instance, just as we tried to unzip its truth and drink in its melancholy air, gone it disappeared. Its words dissolved to memory, and in this hour I can hear no sound, as if a whisper had left our side. All that it was remains, and yet somehow the beauty in its phrases, its rhythms and music. All the radiance has become sacred memory. Let us put its impact in its place. A bright beacon in the approaching night which scorns the blasphemous hand. Perhaps all in all, our departure from these battles, the time we find to discover ourselves. Amidst this unending tumult, a sad ship, this journey we have taken, like the night loneliness and despair. Yet, underneath an ebb and flow remains a line in the sand between light and dark. Hope that never goes, love that is eternal, and never to be lost. To end my fantasy, let it not go unrealized that myth for now is only one installment of a larger cosmic message. The one called solidarity and fraternity, where diversity meets in kindness to transcend and remain. And in their cry out, there will be some missurname and online who need a stand-in this battle. Our battle against a world that has shown much hatred and disdain. A standby for all and anyone. Listener, so what happened with the elections? Mythmaker. Oh, right. Remember that viral meme with Donald and Drone Boy caught mid-shift to the moon? Didn't stop the Republican base's thirst to cast a vote for the snowbully who out-trumped it at the last minute. Somehow. Didn't stop a one-winged politician at a moment's loss that the country wasn't turning into a vile, dark hellscape. No, just, kept it in their briefcase until next winter's gale when a new year dawned. Too little, too late. Human beings trudge on with shattered pride and hopes we all make it through alive, and ends up dreams we will conquer the night. In this sense, we are not different. Our myths become us as we learn and rise toward our future, or fade into oblivion, dull in our lack of power. Hello, listener. So how have you found myths for now? Poetry until the podfic cadawamp, till the mythic sink.
It's okay. Last one.
Tonight we will have for you a memorable epic poem about the time when an American, not just any American, but the leader of the ostensibly free, but mostly militarized world, on the 9th hour of the presidential election cycle, the 11th hour of this play on a stage called The Social Experiment, Democracy at on 11, 59 and 30, 6 seconds on the doomsday clock at the behest of the remnant of Black Twitter, the collective user body of JDate and Unicorn Pinterest, along with his trusted colleagues, his family, and a subsequent ministroke, decided perhaps now is the best time to state one's limitations, step out of the race, and begin the search for a candidate to outmatch the Republican nominee and the necromancer currently animating him. Roll out the Mythmaker, please. don't be fooled. On this modest AV card, this little glass dome is unfurling on this slender ticker tape a string of words that I will recite to you now. This myth dedicated to the well-being of our posterity. Burn Habad, Pubbles, Pabraspa, Entvilai Burn, Heft the Boy, Shopping Cart, Because the Cars to Farm it, Estate Up, Hang up, God, no Dutches, it's us, Oh, Jingry. We made it, you ain't here, no, of course, from his fair, our Sotlad art, but no, de me, and Wog says, Not Parliament, he sent he read for cut. Gay Tuesday, 8 filled to synopsis. You were a bit of a game every day, Prater, men, and her F and U2, Ali Agrium, Pis, F. Satan, anyway, Fat Ada, on Low W. Fuse Wade, would be to Easter to Borto Kaker. Oh, is it Telal Erstika K. Sirda, Sig Nefolis Echo, Umpedo Snabber, ye saber, and make your redly boo for your friend, a deep blast beam book. Tandar Tiske attack you, Oj and Laney of Clacks, Yeriut. But sick fine mayor slimy symbols and not new proper inject flaten is. Listener, it must be between channels. Here, let me turn the dial a bit. This unit can choose that and bypass the static. Let's see here. Another Nabu ship. Maybe it can clear away all those pesky remnants on Yoda date. The remnants get slightly passive-aggressive every time, forgetting where they leave their clothes, or what is the off button, and some remnants have been caught having a snack attack on someone's friend. Others have gone so feral they pulled out their scythe or their light stick. Mythfinder, quiet now, listeners. Speak no louder than my words. Clear-minded attention seekers too. The rest of the story is like a saga, stretching from start to infinity, involving the love life and the politics of a female president's daughter and their not quite fated match, fraught with difficult but lovable husbands and heartless villains. Suffice to say, myth finds hate in myth-making, and since what is mythical becomes historical, and mythos becomes more complicated by the ever-presencing of the mythos in real time, trying to master this art might seem impossible to anyone without supernatural powers themselves. Perhaps its mere title comes as something akin to not touching what the gods simply swore. Death wouldn't rise above harm. For back thou snest none beside so grievous cause upon Elif, Ibrahim's have not his gift and bradier. Any myths rising outside such profaning tetisms merit dangerous removal and elimination due to a suffer threatening his iron ecology there within a fustani at watertus or mendai or loudst in the ex down spawn. Very to complete thoughts, but beseeded life its air I. Oh, for female was Eve Mare Arais, wo nicht kedig fand es Gladigosus and Daspek Shark saying he got the natis, but it's what take early seasons, the it's kissed us e moment upside and see no why it was early. Listener, twisting the dial back, didn't I fix your position just an endoclimax ago? I also dispense haster. Does Ross order them be under complete denial? Attentive, see so much, or Fenera weed at Capworm and Wendon and Steppy hour he pays to be wait till I meal somebody to say Emily sist Ensia, but BK trusting you witness with Fantafri as he argued it may have too big. Listener, drive this shit to inside the latent space. Let's not escape velocity. Must to Lardos. Could that noise monster with Samsos and his friends explain Baratic to whom is really code tenacity masked with its true stewarderies or elves? Life no more lives as he waits shink for shriver and sluts it on hard sainty chinfarb keen sainty wages be an offici cogri hishu. A mythful can span impore realms spreading myths ranging morally the mold strawberries my ultra no told. Myth maker. Okay, I'll go in the back and try and fix this. Verbi said, GRBL UB says it's smacking gun typical dramatic language spelling us on ensued way in myth making Verusified's purpose with good will find enough. Let's seek me with Ixa still. Why you and you and TT with the jump in ILO he and my shimon W from how third them the sodo is. Listener. How about try abiding the speed limit? Spedimentary accelerating. Accelerates to a point where only gods can save us from the eternity. Can't call it life if all we do is coexist, trying to move ahead on our own. It's more like a whiz dream, a paler memory, or a dark timeline, never quite overflowing or crossing the boundaries of space, just living on, Sometimes you catch yourself dreaming or hallucinating that the dream or the myth is happening, and it feels so real, even with a surrealist reality that's nothing but an extension of the myth. Myth maker, and to fill the myth, the bar gives you a twist or a plot development, such as, let's say, a woman and her daughter discover their powers of clairvoyance in the most unexpected way, just when a war is brewing and the family is trapped in a city full of conspirators. The Secret Service agent assigned to protect them discovers his long buried superpower, and together they team up to uncover a plot to assassinate the president. Or how about a boy born with the ability to heal any illness is captured by a cult and forced to do the impossible until he eventually overpowers his captors and becomes a legend? Or perhaps there is a scientist who creates a genetically enhanced breed of super soldiers and a band of resistance fighters who are tasked with liberating the world from his control. You never know. Myths can go anywhere. Listener, enough for today. Please turn off the Mythmaster. Let's wrap this up. Mythmaker, right, thanks for withstanding the weirdness with me. One day, we'll surely master the art of storytelling, and maybe, just maybe, we can achieve true omniscience by telling the tale of the universe, starting from the Big Bang. This might sound crazy, but anything is possible. We're all just visitors to the universe anyway. Keep transmitting on MythFam. Mythmaker. Shit, the doors won't open. Please hold. This could take a while. We seem to be stuck in an alternate reality again. Must fix this and get back to the tower. Try to maintain the broadcast while I do this. Don't change the channel. Listener, things are getting weird. Turn this off immediately or the broadcast could get out of control and we'll end up trapped in the alternative timeline forever. This is a warning. Quick, activate the failsafe. Please, the power supply is fading. It can't survive for much longer. And it could explode or leak or worse. You could die. Please. What have you done? Get out. You're not playing with God. Mythmaker. Wait, no. Come back. Let me get to the bottom of this. It's not my fault. You should have told me to fix it before we ended the broadcast. You are so hard on me. Oh well. I'll keep working on it. You'll see, I can solve any problem, even the unfixable. Keep the thing on! Listener, no, turn it off. It's too dangerous. The signals are getting stronger. Our device is overheating. We have to switch to another channel or it will suck us into oblivion. Oh dear, no! Switch it off! Stop! Oh no, no, no! No, don't touch it! No! I think we're too far gone. We must close all the portals and lock down the tower. We are trapped in a world we cannot survive in without support. Mythmaker, let me concentrate. Listener, I should have never married you. Mythmaker, that came out of nowhere. What was that? Did you just say something? Is someone messing with the system? I think I hear voices. Listener, no, you're hallucinating. Ignore the voices and focus. I'm almost there. Come back here and help me, quick. Don't go too far. Don't open that door. No. Too late. Damn, that wasn't supposed to happen. Why is this happening again? Why didn't anyone listen to me? Now we're doomed and I have to face the consequences. Damn it. Why? I can't even believe it. But it's real. And here it is, in the face. Mythmaker, I can fix it. Don't give up. We can turn it around. Let me keep working on it. Please, no. Don't smash it. Let me figure out what went wrong so I can repair the damage. No, don't. Listener, shut off. The thing is killing us. Mythmaker, this thing gives me life. Listener, why do you always do the opposite? It's too dangerous. Stop it now, before you lose yourself. Mythmaker, don't. The signal is gone. No. Why won't it turn off? It's not responding. What if it's just malfunctioning? Please work. This is getting seriously out of hand. Don't close the portal. Listener, don't try to reach for that. Stay where you are. The danger is getting worse. This is not our universe. Mythmaker. Oh, that doesn't sound entitled. Totally doesn't at all. Oh no? Where did it take me? Come back. I need a better place to land. Quick, my portal, please open up. Damn it. Mythmaker, it's still closed. I have to get out of this place. Come on, portal. Open up, please. Listener, for the love of Mythos, turn it off, or else we'll all be trapped in this fantasy world forever. I wish I'd never married you. This was your idea. Mythmaker. Oh, here's the reboot lever. There. Oh, thank God. No one understands the sacrifice I'm making. Mythmaking is no joke. This is some serious shit. Why can't anyone else appreciate it? Oh well. Maybe there's another universe waiting for me, but who knows? We'll see. It's just a silly little story, right? So why are you freaking out? It's just words strung together. Who cares? Nobody does. Well, except you. Thanks for sticking by me. I couldn't ask for a better companion or collaborator. Listener, okay. Hey audience, sorry for the elongated technical difficulty, but we are back home. Just look at the traffic lights and let me know if it turns other than green. MythFM is back online, ready to take on the future. Mythmaker, thank you, dear listeners. Next time, we'll focus on less technical difficulties and more epic stories. Stay tuned and please subscribe to you won't regret it. Stay thirsty, stay mythmaking. You may get a prize for best listener in our newsletter. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Okay, just kidding. That was too corny. Please don't. And please don't be litigious. You're alive, right? Mythmaking is just a hobby. I'm a lowbrow artist. I cannot afford a lawsuit, but we can improve. You and me. That's a promise. We are making history here. So don't you worry. The story is already unfolding. Oh my God, did you see that? That's it. I'm coming home. I can't risk getting trapped in another alternate timeline. Not with the election coming up. I need to vote. This is just the beginning of a whole new wave of creation. Listener, I'm microwaving the mac and cheese. Get over here. Myth-making isn't going to fix our hunger. Ha ha ha. Okay, stop now. No, please. Enough with the theatrics. Mythmaker. Listeners, this concludes another session of Mythmaking. Don't miss the next episode. Goodbye. Stay thirsty, stay mythmaking. You're alive. I am the bard. Please tip generously for me. Okay. Now I'm just pushing it. My fellow thirsty ones, I will see you soon.